Greetings and salutations, everyone. Well, they've done it. They have certainly done the one thing that I and many others expressed them not to do, and man, oh man, am I pissed with a capital P. So, without beating around the bush, we've got some ranting to do, and those rants involve spoilers, so major spoilers up ahead. I urge you to proceed with caution. Alright, that being said, here we go. From the start of Midnight, Zul'aman was one of the most well-regarded zones and stores for leveling. It was easily one of the best parts about the expansion, especially for those who have been waiting patiently for a story centered around the Amani's culture, and of course trolls, because, you know, it's been a while since we had troll stuff since Battle for Azeroth, which was 2019, 2018, you know, a long time ago. It's people in the zone outside of the original raid as well. After some time, it remains that way. However, there was a bit of fear of a potential blunder over how one character was treated. Enter Zul'jan. Zul'jan is one of the two grandchildren of Zul'jin. While his sister was the primary protagonist of the zone, with the main focus of her being on her road to become Hashe with the Loa, Zul'jan remained more focused on driving out the Twilight's Blade. The two largest driving factors, though, was two rather justified points of mistrust. One being mistrust to outsiders who have time and time again either slayed and taken his people's lands. You know, you have the whole situation where the Horde, the Dark Spear, raided their land as well and killed the Kara and such during the Cataclysm. And also to the Loa, who they've worshipped only to leave them when his grandfather took things too far and weaponized them against their will, leaving the Amani to fester without their gods and to wither partially. Obviously, there's reasons for how everything escalated, and it's not an easy black and white story, but there were reasons behind Zul'jan's doubts and anger, and in spite of those heavy and high emotions, he never became an antagonist figure against his sister. We have seen plenty of disagreements between the two, but we would eventually see them align their views to take down a common enemy. Until now. And this is where things get muddy. In the upcoming storylines for the Curse of Ula'tek, Zul'jan is driven by his ambitions and desires for the Amani to take back their lands, hold the Loa to their oaths, and fight back the Void or anyone who would challenge them. You can't tell me that's completely invalid after all is said and done, right? After being told the Amani and Elves have a bloodline together, this disgusts Zul'jan and drives him to uncover more secrets of his own people. This is achieved through a familiar figure from the past, Hex Lord Malakros, whose spirit...
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Malakros did have a common knack for driving Amani leaders to oblivion. This leads to John to the very power of Ula'tek, the very Loa that aided the Amani in taking out Kha'Thix, the Cathraxi the Amani warred with many years ago. The evil, dark, and scary Snake Loa with many snake heads too. And kinda looks like Hakar with the gaping heart wound. Interesting. It's a bit unclear on whether or not Ula'tek, I think I'm saying that right, Ula'tek? It's a bit unclear if Ula'tek is a Loa or not. I'm guessing it's not, but it has every category that checks off for a Loa, so, you know. It's a Gahoon situation all over again. In his journey to gain the power and knowledge, his uncle is killed in the process in an attempt to save Zul'jan. And this understandably devastates Zul'jan. Outside of his sister, he was one of the only few remaining family members left that he gave a damn about. But he presses on with his goal to take back what was rightfully theirs, listening to the whispers to the same troll who led Zul'jin astray. And over the course of Zul'jan's means to gain power he seeks, some actually goes down on the Coiled Isle, and he eventually becomes an evil snake man thing, willed by Malakros as a vessel in the process. Excuse me a moment, I need to vomit. Now, there's no cinematic currently, only dialogue on the aftermath of it all between Liadrin and Zul'jarra. who tried to save her little brother and ultimately failed. And it sounds like Zul'jan didn't make it remotely. We don't know how he died, but it's either he went out swinging against Malacross or died as his puppet. Tragic. I just... What the f***? Obviously, this is the PTR. Things can change, things can be moved around, new stuff can be added, hopefully, but this is what we've got. This is what we've been given. It's voice acted, we've heard it, and when it's typically voice acted, it's typically set in stone. They normally don't back down from a storyline such as this unless they get some real heavy feedback. Which, yeah, we should do that. But this is where we are now. Zul'jan was the make it or break it character for me specifically for Midnight. I was bummed when Crexus was killed off screen in a quest during Shadowlands, sure. I can be bummed that Rexler doesn't have enough screen time, and god damn it, I will continue to fight for that until those sands of time run out. But this... Yep, that's the last straw. I have had a hard time believing this expansion can be saved for me, and salvaged for many who are on the same wavelength. Specifically now with my favorite character dead in a ditch like this. Favorite character from Midnight, I should add. I've been very outspoken on what they should have done with Zul'jan from the start. Posts on Twitter and Blue Sky, YouTube videos, and many have too. I'm not alone in this. We asked them not to villain bat him, and they did. We asked them not to kill him off. Not only did they do that, but they stood on that rake as it repeatedly waxed them in the face over and over until they made a decision to make Eretor the child of light and shadow, and not Anduin. That's another video later or something. That's not really my fight, but it is something that people talk about. Probably not as riled up as what's going on with Zul'jan, but hey, I mean, anger all around, right? As mentioned before, I've had many dealings with Blizzard killing off characters that I liked in both satisfying and unsatisfying ways. Here, this ain't it. Zul'jan was a character who stood out the most in the new cast in Midnight. He was outspoken, he was different, he was engaging, and he was interesting. He challenged the narrative that was given, and that made people invested and interested. Zul'jan was a wickedly cool character. Overall, the dude was not really that antagonistic at all. I think they missed the entire point if all they saw in Zul'jan was a villain, and only a villain. Complicated and somewhat misunderstood, yes, but a full-blown villain? No. By killing him off as a manipulated snake man, you've deprived him so much of his identity. He was a brother who cared so much for his sister. He was an Imani who fought tooth and claw to save his people, even to use the Lightwood as weapons. And now he's just dead. All of that wasted, and for what? To tell a sad story? To tell a tragic end? To tell another tale of a perfectly good troll character who died. This was done with Zul'jin, his grandfather before, and Sen'jin, and Vol'jin, and even Rastakhan. This whole troll leader death trope has been done before over and over again, that it's almost deliberate at this point. To me, Zul'jan was a welcome addition to the Warcraft universe. I connected with him immediately and understood his plight all too well. Many others did too. Friends I know and cherish liked him just as much, despite not having enough screen time. I was hopeful that he would receive it in the best way possible, especially with this upcoming patch. Blizzard, you are catering to people who want more trolls dead. You're catering to people who think the Imani are not justified in their anger. This is the story you want to tell, because that's what we're getting, a story that vindicates some of the worst people I've seen in this community. Hell, take a look at Marin Trollbane, the epitome of fascism. Yeah, we're going there. That's how livid I am. She has zero redeeming qualities, and yet she was spared because her uncle didn't want her to be a martyr, and yet the antithesis, Zul'jan, only wanted was to secure his people through protecting them from outsiders, and he's coerced by a ghost of the past to secure power, basically duping him, and he ends up dying? So that's the story we want to tell. No wonder Trollbane is such an apt name. This is wasted potential, a wasted character, zone, patch, so much more, and worse yet, you've lost me. It is damn near difficult to have me after blundering so badly with Midnight. Midnight for me has just killed off so much of my interest with John's demise specifically. It warrants some serious questioning if I'm ever going to be invested again in your new and old characters and your world if you're just going to waste them away like this constantly. No amount of Zul'jin, Rexar, or Thrall is going to bail you out around this time. This has killed the goodwill that the Zone of Zul'aman pushed for, leading this expansion's already crippling narrative for me, making this fall right alongside with War Within, under Cataclysm and Warlords on my own personal tier list. That's 2 out of 3 core stories for this entire trilogy. Either shape up or get out of Dodge. And I'm not surprised. This has been the worst that I've seen since Shadowlands, and now that I've been saying under my breath, I think I miss Oval. It's kind of that, it's that bad. Obviously I don't miss Oval, but it's what I'm equating to. It's my way of saying how bad things have gotten. At least with Shadowlands, I could untether how I felt about it, because it was an afterlife that we weren't really gonna see again. I mean, we do, but not enough to really matter. But for Midnight, I was invested in your setting, your themes, your characters, as it's evergreen where the ramifications were to impact the world outside of Quel'thelas. I can understand that the narrative and world building was established long before we got a glimpse of the story, but there was an ample amount of time for reconciliation to be made even before Midnight was launched. There was feedback everywhere on different mediums, and it fell on deaf ears. This was going on for over 8 months, and you still walked right into it. You still committed to it for some reason. What's worse is you had a chance to give him an out with this. There were alternatives to where Zul'jan could have A, broken free from Malacross's possession, or B, have his sister be there to help him snap out of it. Once more, you had the chance to make a former villain survive and have him be somebody we engage with who isn't Vanessa Van Cleef or Sylvanas Windrunner. There's more of a story to tell by having him survive and continue than just die. Imagine if he and Zul'jin interacted and he helped guide Zul'jan down the rightful path. There was so much potential to include him in this patch too, and yet, crickets. It's like, he's the villain now? Alright. He's the boss we're trying to get our best in slot trinket? Alright. He dies? No. How about instead of him staying dead in the ground, the Loa show up and show him that they care, that they revive him, or something. This could go full circle with Nalarak's lesson of sometimes you lose people, but you can also cheat sometimes and save those people you care for in a way, as he did with his own followers in the campaign, in the quest. Will they do this? I doubt it. The Hopium well has been bottomed out for John, and that has me worried even more than I was before. I know it's cheesy, but it would go full circle with his doubts in the Loa, and having them save him would be a great way of showing that they cared. Is it a bit overpowered? Sure, but they can say that they can only do this once or something per person, or once in 10 years, I don't know. Give me something good out of this. Ugh. They're not gonna. But it'd be great if they did. I'd be more than pleased if I was wrong and he comes back, but again, I very much doubt it. I really do. But you've got to stop doing this, Blizzard. I get you want to tell your own story, and sometimes you think you know best. I've given you time, money, and more than enough patience, but this was the single worst thing you could have done regarding Midnight Story. I would go on to say this is the worst thing you've done in all of Warcraft story, and I've been playing since Reign of Chaos, Wrath of Lich King, so on and so forth. I've been playing your games for a while now, so I know when things have been bleak. I know when things have been bad. And this was just bad for the trolls, it was bad for the Imani tribe, but especially you royally just, you f***ed over Zul'jan. This was just bad. And it's left me and several others empty, angry, sad, and frustrated. I have seen people, they're quitting. They are quitting over this. My friends, mutuals, they're gone. They're out of here. You are pushing away people that will be giving you money. You had a marvelous character on your hands, and you've sank in the ground like so many other fascinating characters before you. I try being positive most of the time. I try focusing on things that interest me most of the time, but I am struggling once more when you completely drop the ball, as you have with this, massively. This is the worst ball you've ever dropped. I have no doubt I'll still find things I like in this patch, and in this expansion, and in this World Soul Saga, but there is a tidal wave of negativity waiting for me when the story continues with Zul'jan's demise. I know it's coming, and I know it's going to sour my mood again and again, every time I look back on this. There is no fixing this if Zul'jan stays dead. If Zul'jan stays dead, there is not a good story to be had if he's just gone. This is how I have seen the storyline, I have seen the quest, I've seen the campaign. It looks good from start to middle. It's the ending that butchers it. Ending to any story, I feel like it's last swan song. It's that it finalizes the story you're trying to tell, and if you have a bad ending, it ruins it for everything else. And that's what we got here. War Within was the expansion I didn't care for. Midnight has been the expansion I've cared far too much in, and that's dying too. And now, Last Titan is leaking with so much dread now. So much. This World Soul Saga is crumbling apart, and if you don't listen to people who have given you more than enough chances, you will kill Warcraft. And you will lose that money that you want so badly, which I know you also care about. People are losing their patience and their faith with you. I certainly am. I am at a breaking point with your storytelling, and I hate that. I really do. I don't like hating your game. I don't like hating your narrative. I want to enjoy it. I want to like it. I want to go in with every patch liking it, but I do not have that for Midnight right now. I really don't. So start listening and start acting. You have a chance to fix this still, and ditch whatever ending this was for something your fans actually want and enjoy. Well, thank you all for watching. I've been Khono Chronos, your depressed time demigod and host. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that stuff for more videos like this one in the near future. Be sure to join the Discord for more discussions with myself and the community, and a special thanks to my patrons and YouTube community members to help keep this channel alive and well. But until next time, my friends, I'll see ya.